Hey guys, thanks for joining us again, and today we're going to wrap up our Walt Disney Studios visit, which is in Disneyland Paris, of course. And before we continue, please hit that red subscribe button. It really does help our channel. Thanks so much. So when you walk into Walt Disney Studios, you're going to walk through this kind of like almost like an overhang, even though it's actually a building, and it looks like you're outside of anywhere in Hollywood Studios. As you can see, the brown derby is represented by this awning, and even though the restaurant is actually not here, it's just a slight representation. Inside, you can see that there's a counter service restaurant, and they have really good choices. We'll get to that in a little bit, but in the meantime, again, we are just kind of walking through this building in Walt Disney Studios. They have a couple of shops. They have some really cool neon lights, which for me is kind of a throwback to the 1950s era, which I absolutely love because it's so iconic. So one thing I was pleasantly surprised about with this restaurant is a counter service restaurant. They had they had burgers, but they also had fish, which is not a common specialty in I don't think any of the restaurants that I've been to at Walt Disney World. So that was a good change from the normal menu. So we have a couple of burgers. They also have fries and of course typical sodas and things like that. Here we see a menu for the chicken burger and the fish burger, which is very different. For the kids menu, they have a chicken burger which has a side of tomatoes, which is not typically found in American fare. So I thought that was different. The lunchbox also does not come with it, so just be advised that you will have to pay an additional almost €7 for the lunchbox. Another cool thing on the menu was onion rings, mozzarella sticks, and additional chicken nuggets, which usually is not typical, again, in the Disney World menus. For those of you that are a little bit more health conscious, they do have a veggie burger, and they also had a couple of salads, which are pretty typical on Disney menus. For those of you that are not necessarily on the health conscious side, or you just want to enjoy your vacation and add a couple of extra sweets in there, they have these choices for options. And just know that in Europe, they are very big on Nutella, so they did have a Nutella dessert on there as well. So one of the very different rides that you might find a similar ride at Disneyland, California, but you're definitely not going to find at Disney World as of yet, is the Cars Quatre Roues Rallye. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably butchered it, but it translates to four-wheel rally. So this ride is a very family-friendly ride. The seats are very small. I sat in the front and my husband sat in the back. My knees were basically touching the front of the car, and I had to actually move slightly to the side to be able to fit. Nonetheless, the ride is really fun, although it can get you very, very dizzy at the end. And please note that right around this point, I was told to put the camera down. Quack, quack, no more filming. So that is just about where my filming ends. I was told in French. All I heard was the word camera in English, and I had to put it down. Burp, burp. So now we head over into Walt Disney Studios' version of N Rollercoaster, and while we were not able to take the camera on the ride, we sure are able to show you the line queue and a little bit of the theming that they have going on with this ride. So as you can see, a lot of the artwork and a lot of the scenery looks extremely similar to the one at Hollywood Studios. However, the intro show shows a little bit of a different storyline, where Aerosmith is actually talking about how they were building a roller coaster and they just could not continue the idea because they ran out of ideas.
And I thought I was going to lose it, and I felt like I was hearing going down. It's a beautiful thing. Hey, people! What's happening out there?
Listen, Steven, you know you wanted to On vient de m'informer que nous sommes prêts à accueillir nos VIP.
So personally, the storyline was not very strong as compared to the one at Hollywood Studios, so it wasn't It wasn't my favorite, but you know, we are not here necessarily for the intro, we're here pretty much for the ride. So onward we go, and it again is the typical hallway that you see right before you hit that beginning part of Rock and Roller Coaster. So rather than a limo, this is actually themed after a regular roller coaster. The one in Disney World has, or Hollywood Studios has, a like limo themed car, but this is just a regular roller coaster. It has the same propulsion system as the one in Hollywood Studios, and again, it is probably one of the best roller coasters out there in the theme parks. So there you have it. That's just a recap of what we've done at Walt Disney Studios over at Disneyland Paris. Our next video will be of Disneyland Paris itself, so stay tuned for that. And again, if you like any of our videos or if you want to see more content, please like, subscribe, and comment, and all that good stuff. Thanks for now, and have an awesome day!